Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to Bringing the Vision video. Today we have more information on the new recalibration system, the skill tiers, and the skill power coming into the Division 2. Now keep in mind this is all not coming in episode 3 or TU7. This is a little bit later down the line, so anyone still confused, this is coming out probably in a few months. But again, really good information in my opinion on recalibration, skill tiers, skill power, and all the changes overall with Gear 2.0 from last week are all good changes in my opinion. I don't think there's like one bad thing that I personally dislike about these changes. Everything, it seems, at least on paper, to be really good changes and just really good improvements overall to the game. Now today in this week's study game, they actually talked about recalibration and the skill tiers or the skill power changes. I actually want to do this into a kind of two-part video. The first one I will have is them explaining the recalibration system. Again, I would do a synopsis for this, but I don't really want to make things a little bit more confusing than what they are already to some people. So I'll just let the developers explain pretty much recalibration, and then in about 30 minutes or so, I will have another video coming out on the channel talking about the skill tiers, skill power, and pretty much everything you need to know about the changes happening. Later on, maybe like tomorrow, I will have maybe my kind of general opinions or thoughts on all these changes combined into one video. But for now, this is all the information that was talked about by the developers on this study game. So you guys can check it out. If you guys do enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for my videos, and here's what they said about recalibration on this week's study game.
What can you tell us about the design ethos behind what we're doing with Recal?
So the current recal is part of the reason why you have so much crap in your inventory and stash, right? You just got to keep all kinds of pieces to potentially use them to recal something in the future. You got to keep a stash of every talent around and all the roles around and stuff like that. And it's just a mess. And what we want to do is make it like intuitive and make it fun and still allow you to customize things, right? So what we've done, and I haven't gotten the best screenshots. We're going to show screenshots in a second, but what we've done is make it I like to think of it as a Pokedex, right? You find gear.
You said a Temtem-Dex.
Temtem-Dex, actually. I mean,
come on.
Don't DDoS us, bro.
So you find rolls on items, like you find a high headshot roll on masks, and you extract that and you save it into a recalibration library. And then you can use that as many times as you want on all gear, on all masks from then on.
Right. It's the equivalent of like if you had a max roll damage to Elite's mask right now, you could always just, you don't need that mask 100
You essentially
times.
learn it.
Yeah.
Right?
It makes so much sense. Let's have a look at some of those screenshots that you managed
let's do that.
pull up. It is worth noting these are from a work in progress build. It's just to give you an idea of the way that the design, like the game design part of it will work. The visual representation may change. And again, we would rather show you and talk about it.
You might see some oddities in here. Numbers are all over the shop, etc. But you'll get the idea. So
yes, chat, as many times as you want, you can see it.
yeah.
Infinite Pikachus.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I mean, it's up here, but it's not up there.
No, because
Yeah.
I see your desktop.
Okay. I gotta fix some things. You guys keep
Yeah.
chatting.
What do you got on your desktop that's so
I got
secret?
nudes.
Ooh, this is spicy.
But yeah, so the idea is that with the new gear, you can recalibrate talents, stats, core stats, and mod slots. So like almost everything, right? So you can, and in the current recalibration, if you don't recal the right thing, you've lost power, right? Because you got to recal something that was like low with something that's really high and super complex. You can do it poorly, right? Like if you recal a talent, you've done it wrong because you need, With the new system, that's no longer true because you'll recal it to max, and it could have rolled max.
Could you re-add it as a source? Sorry.
Maybe we can answer some questions?
Yeah, that'd be
Well,
great.
one of the things, and you've designed this, so like why you would want to recal core and mod slots is because they're dictated by the brand, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Thinking how deep to go into brand conversations, but there is the new direction with brand set bonuses in addition to the attribute roles is that the brand sets essentially are a profile or match a profile, which is either offensive, defensive, or utility and skill based.
And then there's some hybridy ones and fun
And
stuff.
then there's a few exceptions that are considered sort of like rule breakers or hybrids, like Badger Tough, for example, is
Right.
going to become a primarily defensive yet secondarily offensive brand set focused around getting into the thick of it and surviving. So I'm not sure if we want to go into those specifics per se,
Yeah.
but you will have the opportunity to break rules with
Right.
brand sets to change the core
Yeah, I fixed it.
attribute
It should be working now.
or mod.
Yeah, so like normally,
If you can just full screen that presentation, would be great.
let's see where that button is.
Oh, PowerPoint. There we go. All right. So now we can.
We
pull-
can't let this become a habit, having PowerPoints on here. We got to get more videos, man.
I don't know, man. I kind of like the PowerPoints. Let's.
Right.
Looks like it's coming up in just a sec. Oh,
There we
there
go.
it is.
All right.
So what are we looking at?
So, apology again for like the quality of the screenshots, but we're including the players on a journey of work in progress here.
I like that.
Yeah, but we want to talk about things early. So here you kind of can, this is just the normal recalibration where you can go into any of the categories because you want to recalibrate a weapon or a mask or whatever, right?
Sure.
But you can see the tab up top, you have a library where you can look at your collection. Like how many attributes have I extracted? How many talents have I found for each of these categories? These numbers are whatever, they're from an artist. They're not the real number of talents or attributes that exist on things. Just can't stress that enough. They're just placeholder numbers.
You get the idea, though.
So you go in and you go like, okay, I'm going to look at my masks. Okay, so I've already found this much weapon damage, this much armor, this skill tier, which we'll get to.
Oh,
On-
that's not our mouse. That's someone else's mouse.
On masks.
It's a production mouse.
It's a production mouse. And I can go, you know what? I can see here that there's an improvement available for like the armor roll.
Can we bring that full screen just so we can?
Yeah, I mean, our faces aren't quite as interesting.
No. There we go.
There you go.
Nice.
So you can go in and go like, okay, there's apparently I have something that I can extract and get a better armor roll. So you go in and you go like, okay, here's all my masks that have armor core rolls. And you'll select the one you want to extract from. And you'll see like, oh, this is going to improve by some amount. You extract it and that destroys it, just like recalibration has always destroyed like the source material. And then, unfortunately, I don't have more screenshots. Then that roll, that armor roll, is available to put on all masks forever, right?
So one question that I see popping up in chat is, what are you going to do once you've filled in your Pokedex or the recal bench?
Yep.
Well, I mean, you still need to find, in order to, let's say, have a perfect item, you still have
Yep.
to find an item that has all the other attributes God rolled.
Yeah.
Right.
This is just a way for you to
Fix
either
one
break
thing.
a rule,
Yeah.
like changing a always defensive core attribute brand set to an offensive
Yeah.
core attribute,
Yeah.
or to shore up any holes or a bad potential roll on
Yeah.
a piece of gear.
Yeah.
It's
In-
not going to diminish
Yeah.
the
I'd say it's more about customizing gear than like improving its overall power for the most part.
Yeah.
Like if you think about a chess piece, it's going to have a core roll, 2 attributes, a mod slot, a talent. That's 4 out of 5 things. You still got to roll well, and then maybe you can recalibrate one of those things to fix it,
Yeah.
right?
and certain gear pieces or slots are going to be easier to perfect,
Yeah.
whereas the backpack and chest in particular are
Yeah.
difficult.
I mean, you've seen at various times throughout the game when people have tried to replicate this through, if there's something God rolled on a vendor, right? Like a max
Yeah.
weapon damage stat on something, they'll buy 50 of them and put them in the stash,
Because they needed to have
Sure. right?
Back-
But
yeah.
you won't have to do that anymore.
No.
No.
You have it. You have it.
Yeah, you've found the max roll for armor, for masks, then you have it.
That's a
And,
good
and,
quiz.
and yeah, that question. Still only one recap per piece? Yeah. Because it's more there to capture the ability to fix one thing
Yes, Loppy
Change
Bro
one
has a
thing.
question. Is the stat library character or account wide?
We're still thinking about that. I think possibly we'll start out with a character bound, but probably we're looking at the opportunity to spread it to be account wide.
Okay.
We haven't really gotten to that point. Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you want to
Nice.
tackle
Yeah,
that
this
one?
question, like, how does it tie into crafting? Like, crafting pretty much works like it worked. You could craft pieces that will have different roles depending on how powerful the thing was, and then you can recal something on that. Like, crafting is just another source of items, right?
Cool.
So I think the thing to remember is all of that stuff you have in your stash, you can now, extract all of the things that you kept it around for, if you can still remember why you kept that one piece around.
Yeah, I'm like, why did I keep this? I don't remember.
You can send Pikachu to the glue factory.
Don't do it. Yeah, horrible. So, I mean, this has been something that various parts of the community have talked about for a while
Right.
in some way or another. It's really cool. I just want to give a shout out to the community for being a part of the, I guess, this journey of
Right.
improving the game. It's really cool.
And I think, honestly, most people who have suggested collecting the stats rather than keeping the items, they kind of expected us to do it so that you extract it once and then you can use it once. But in practice, we found that it's really fun to kind of have that feeling of filling out the whole deck or the whole library and just knowing that you have everything collected. It becomes another thing for you to do, to find all the god rolls for
Yeah.
everything.
So if I'm reading this question correctly, so you can't craft a god item by using the Pokédex. No, you cannot take the Pokédex and then generate a assault rifle
Yeah, that's dev hacks.
from that.
Yeah.
Or that we can do that. But
Yeah.
no, that's not how it's going to work. You're still going to have to craft an item, and it's going to roll randomly generated attributes or stats, and then you can then use your Pokédex.
Let's stop using it.
Station,
Let's use the recal library.
the Recal library in order to
Yeah.
finalize it or perfect it.
Yeah, that would break the game. You
Yeah.
wouldn't play the game anymore.
Yeah.
You'd be like, I just made all these items. Hey.
Yeah. So it's not a terribly complicated thing.
Yeah.
Find stats, extract them, use them forever.
All right. Anything else you want to say about Recap before we move on to skill power refactorization?
I mean, we're still working on costs and everything. It's probably going to be a little bit more like tuned than to be more costly than what it currently is because it's so powerful, but
Sure.
we'll see.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.